The officials for tonight's East Region game, Joe Sylvester from the East Coast Athletic Conference, Ron Spittler from the Missouri Valley Conference, and Woody Mayfield out of the Big 8 Conference. This will be a first round semifinal game of the East Region and the NCAA Championship on the road to Albuquerque, tap controlled by North Carolina. The Tar Heels won it all last year, culminating in New Orleans Superdome. And here they are in another big dome in Syracuse, New York. Ohio State, man for man. And they've got Larry Huggins on Michael Jordan, trying to post up down low. There goes Dougherty, hitting on a little spin on the inside. 6'11", Brad Dougherty.
I think Ohio State with the man-to-man surprised North Carolina, but they handled it with Dougherty nailing the jump shot.
There's North Carolina man for man. A little bit of surprise there. They put their point guard, Jimmy Braddock, on Huggins, a bigger guy on the inside. He's about 6'6". 2-0 North Carolina leads. Perkins will take the outside shot, and he hits it pretty well. Rebound, tip out, and a foul on Matt Doherty. First foul of the game on North Carolina's Matt Doherty, with the Tar Heels leading 2-0.
I think Brad Dougherty actually pushed Matt into the Ohio State player, causing the foul.
There's a little bit of a press and backcourt being set up now by North Carolina. 3 guards down there. Campbell comes out to help out. It's sort of a passive press, really not going all out. North Carolina is changing defenses. Is always expected to be one of its big weapons here in postseason play. There's Concheck inside to Waiters. That could be the key. And there's Dougherty getting the first foul on him. The first time it goes to Waiters.
Well, you mentioned it at the top. Go inside, and of course, Elden Miller, he's been around. He knows what to do. But the interesting thing with North Carolina is they front that low post, and Dougherty actually got caught trying to get in front. Earlier, he fronted well. This time, he got caught.
Granville Waiters has had a very big year for Ohio State. They've got a record they play around Columbus which says, get the ball to Granville. And usually when you do that, good things happen for Ohio State. 2 shots. Team's a little tight, don't you think, Bill, the opening minutes of the game?
Well, they all are. And of course, they're such a great foul shooting team. And last week, they struggled on the foul line also.
Good part of the season, they led the nation. Now 2-1. Ohio State gets its first point of the game. All court pressure by the Buckeyes in a zone trap. Braddock easily escapes it. They get to, bad pass, went right over Dougherty. Might have been more of a bad play by Dougherty than it was by Braddock.
You're right. He didn't have his hands up. He wasn't ready for the pass. He wasn't alert.
2-1. North Carolina leading by a point. Ohio State, which lost a share of the Big Ten on the final game of the season to Indiana. Now zone, a 1-3-1 zone or a 1-2, 1-3-1 I think with Dougherty at the baseline. Tony Campbell usually likes this defense pretty well. There he is on the left wing. That's Campbell, who can shoot outside or penetrate. Huggins will take the outside shot. He's an excellent shooter. Rebound, rushed down by Michael Jordan. North Carolina comes back to the attack with a 2-1 lead. Inside to Sam Perkins. Good fake by Perkins, and he's fouled.
Well, that's the problem, too. You have to play Perkins. They'll go to Waiters on one end. He's going to be tired at the end of the evening. Playing a very talented center, Sam Perkins. Posting up. He had him trapped. Now the hands come down, actually trying to control his body. But the foul on Granville Waiters.
It's going to be a 3-point play. Sam Perkins almost a homecoming from him. He's from nearby Latham, New York. Not too far from Syracuse. And North Carolina jumps to its biggest lead now. 5-1 with a 4-point edge. Ohio State's still looking for its first field goal. Half-court trap. Now Troy Taylor for Ohio State. Taylor drives, puts it up, blocked out by Perkins. Perkins went right up with it.
So the thing with Sam Perkins, you may think you have him beat, but the length of his arms, incredible.
Well, he almost never takes a fake. Perkins will stay right with you, not go up until the right moment. Here goes Higgins trying to get Ohio State its first basket. Rebound, Tony Campbell inside, just taken away by North Carolina. 5-1, North Carolina in the lead.
Braddock wisely calling for help. He thought he had spent his dribble.
The final 16 for the 9th year of the last 17 years for North Carolina. Only one time under Dean Smith have they lost a region game. They've won 7 out of the 8 regions they've been in. Only John Wooden has a better record. 5-1, North Carolina. Ohio State continues man for man. Sam Perkins goes in on Waiters. Waiters blocks the shot. Rebound, Campbell has it for Ohio State. Here comes Troy Taylor off the break. Taylor with the quick stop, and Ohio State still waiting for his first basket as Taylor fouls.
You know, their shots are harsh, if I can describe a shot like that. And they're trying to score, obviously, but forcing the ball rather than the smooth release. And this is what Waiters has to do, is keep his hands up in the air. Don't reach down on top of the player's head. Keep them as high as you can.
5-1, North Carolina leads. We've played over 3.5 minutes from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Tar Heels trying to keep alive their hopes for a second straight national championship. Hook shot by Perkins is got it.
On the other end, Granville Waiters is letting Sam Perkins have the ball down on the box. He's got to try some different techniques to get in front.
7-1, 3 minutes gone by, and Ohio State has not scored a field goal. The Buckeyes want a timeout. Elden Miller will try to settle down his team here. With 3 minutes gone in the first half, it is North Carolina in the lead. So there's timeout on the court and the score. North Carolina 7 and Ohio State 1. Back at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, the NCAA East Region. The winner of this game between North Carolina and Ohio State will play either St. John's or Georgia for the East Region spot in the Final Four. There's Buzz Peterson, who was a starting guard at the outset of this season and then suffered a knee injury in February, required surgeries out for the year.
Of course, he and Jordan competed in high school.
Tony Campbell, Ohio State. That was a good timeout, Bill, apparently. Ohio State comes right back to score in 15 seconds.
Just loosen up a little bit. They can get back in the ballgame.
7-3, North Carolina by 4. Ohio State still man-for-man matchup. It is still Larry Huggins on Michael Jordan. Inside line to Michael Jordan on the baseline.
I think Michael Jordan may have gotten away with a push there to free himself. Elden Miller didn't like it.
9-3, it's still a 6-point lead. Jordan's here out guarding the little guy, Troy Taylor, and they've got Jimmy Braddock on Huggins.
That's a tribute to Jordan's speed.
A 5-second call. Yep, there it was. 5-second call on Huggins, so Braddock did the job, and Elden Miller wants to make a change. He's going to bring Dave Jones in the lineup. Sophomore out of Jewett, Ohio. He is a Larry Huggins look-alike. You almost think you're seeing twins. There's Jones, who's a couple of inches shorter, perhaps, but they really look alike.
And of course, Huggins had a great start against Syracuse last week. This week, struggling a little bit. Elden Miller trying to calm him down.
9-3. North Carolina gets the man-for-man. Well, like a lot of back doors, they'll go inside, try to get Jordan or Perkins one-on-one. Here's Jordan spinning on the inside. Matt Doherty. Doherty goes to the hole, pump fake, jumps right into his man, and it's going to be a personal foul. Doherty's one of the clever players at getting a defensive player in a helpless position.
And Tony Campbell went for it here. This is pump faking at its best. Get the man up in the air. Actually, a helpless Tony Campbell in that case. But Carolina runs that little passing game screen where they go down and free Jordan up the lane. And they haven't been able to get him free because of the scouting of Ohio State. They're ready for that little play.
Matt Doherty perhaps playing his best basketball right now of his career. Although he's a 6'8" forward, he leads the North Carolina team in assists. He has 4 more than his Jim Braddock coming into this game. Braddock's the point guard. Both ends here gives North Carolina its biggest lead. 11-3, up by 8 of the Tar Heels. Backcourt pressure. Troy Taylor will come on Michael Jordan.
This is a tribute to great athletic ability. Jordan able to stay with Troy Taylor.
Very quick Troy Taylor. Joe Concheck, North Carolina now. Back to its man-for-man. There goes the drive by Campbell, and he's fouled by Sam Perkins. Well, Campbell took it to Perkins that time and drew the personal foul. First one on Perkins, the Tar Heels' 3rd of the game. Perkins, who was also named first-string All-American this year by about 3 different sources, giving the Tar Heels 2 first-team All-Americas. Doesn't happen often. 11-3. Waiters, and the Waiters has not seen the ball since the first time he went in and he got Brad Dougherty for foul. There's Concheck out of the corner hitting. Both field goals for Ohio State come deep from the corner. 11-5. Lead back to 6 for North Carolina. Tar Heels an excellent shot selection so far. Now they got Jordan inside, and Jones, who's only 6'1", is guarding him. Here goes Doherty. Brad Doherty rolling out of the post to score his 4th point.
They have an active offense. Both times Doherty's hit the jump shot, he's had a wide open spot on the floor.
Tony Campbell cut off the baseline. North Carolina back in a 2-1-2 zone. Continuing to switching. Outside is Tony Campbell. Rebound Sam Perkins. Tar Heels break, but Ohio State is back. 8-point lead by North inside, taken away by Jones. They tried to get Jordan posted down low, and Jones with a great overplay.
He's done that 2 times now. Jordan's had to come outside.
13-5, North Carolina by 8. Taylor now in trouble, looking for help, and has the ball way and lost it out of bounds.
And of course, the coaching staff over there at Carolina signaled which direction the ball should go.
But right off the leg of Troy Taylor. Dean Smith, who has tied Johnny Wooden with the most 25-win victories now. 11 different seasons with 25 wins. Just another one of his remarkable statistics over a great 22-year career at Chapel Hill.
He's sort of the top of the trade in most coaches' estimation.
13-5. They're calling. Here goes Perkins inside, stolen by Troy Taylor. Personal foul's going to be called on Perk. Nope, it's on Taylor. Taylor on the steal.
Now, one referee let the call go, and from the rear, the call was made, and it's a little upsetting to Taylor and Elden Miller also.
13-5 is the count. North Carolina leads. That's Troy Taylor's 2nd personal foul. Elden Miller may have to soon go to Ron Stokes. They're almost like twins. They play so much alike. Both the same size, same high school, both extremely quick. Down low now is Sam Perkins. Dipsy-do, rebound by Jones. Dave Jones, a guard, gets inside with a rebound. Here comes Campbell, penetrating to the inside. Tony Campbell gets his 2nd basket. 13-7. Ohio State back within 6.
Well, he can go to the hole as well as anybody, and he can stick the jump shot. He's a tough assignment.
Warren Martin has now checked in the North Carolina lineup. There's the alley-oop off the fingers of Perkins out of bounds. A turnover again. Twice they've gone for the high pass. Here's Elden Miller for the 2nd year in a row. He's Ohio State has been named Big Ten Coach of the Year. So quite an honor for this young man who played at Wittenberg under Ray Mears.
When you have a start like they had, he's done some nice things. He's substituted people, gotten them comfortable, relaxed. They've gotten back in the ball game. They don't turn the ball over much, and their shot selection has improved.
They're giving Sam Perkins a breather here. Warren Martin's coming to the team with Brad Doherty. Now Troy Taylor underneath the Campbell for the layup, and he's fouled by Martin.
I think they're going to give this to Jordan.
Are they?
Underneath. And you can see one thing North Carolina does is they converge on the ball. Everybody helps one another out. Of course, the Carolina people feeling no foul. Perkins agreeing with them.
A little bit of a rest here for Sam, who's averaged 17 points, 9.5 rebounds, leads North Carolina with block shots with 62. Just another outstanding season in his junior year.
People tend to forget how good he is because of Michael Jordan being on that ball club.
Ohio State, as we said, is 3rd in the nation in free throwing, and for a good part of this year they were number 1. But tonight they're only 1 out of 3 so far. Campbell here led Ohio State in free throwing percentage, gets his 2nd one, and it's 13-8, a 5-point lead. Now zone press Ohio State, tipped out by Jones. Curtis Hunter, number 43, is in and has replaced Michael Jordan. Nope, they leave Jordan in there. He's replaced Matt Doherty. Curtis Hunter will be at guard. Jimmy Braddock, and they'll move Jordan to forward. Still is Jones guarding Jordan.
Carolina will open up a side for an alley-oop. They had a turnover on it before.
Well, they like to work it with Jordan or Perkins, either one. Jordan on a drive off the dribble, backs it in. Michael Jordan with his 4th point. He's a sophomore that scored over 1,100 points for North Carolina. That's never happened before. 15-8, 7-point lead for the Tar Heels. They stick with a 2-1-2 zone. Concheck out of the other corner. And Jordan has the rebound for the Tar Heels. North Carolina likes to push it up fast on the fast break. Hunter lobs inside. Doherty. Doherty bounces in, but there is a foul. Walking. It'll be walking instead.
Jody Sylvester spotting the walk. Doherty should have given it out quickly. Ohio State got inside, snapping at the ball. Get rid of it.
Now with the rest, Matt Doherty and Sam Perkins re-enter the lineup for North Carolina. And Hunter and Martin go back to the sidelines. Davy Jones has replaced Huggins, and he remains in there. He's done a pretty good job on Jordan. He kept the ball away from him down in the hole. 15-8. Nobody stops Michael Jordan. You just hope to slow him down. Tony Campbell from the dribble banking. And the loose ball comes to Perkins.
Can't take those kind of shots against Carolina. Have to be patient.
We have over 11 and a half minutes to go in the first half, 15-8. North Carolina's had its share of turnovers so far. 3 in the last 5 possessions. They hold the lead by 7 points. Waiters has to come out on Perkins. Now the turn shot by Doherty. Brad Doherty with his 6th point. He's getting guarded by a shorter man, taking advantage.
Concheck really is helpless down there. He's been able to rest his elbow on his head. Doherty resting his elbow on Concheck. He's much bigger.
Solid screen set by Troy Taylor and a good switch by Perkins. North Carolina back to its man for man. Let's see if they try to get inside. The ball knocked away, and the foul's going to be on Jordan. Second, is it Jordan?
Braddock. Braddock.
Jimmy Braddock gets his first.
Reaching in.
5 team fouls against North Carolina. And back in comes Larry Huggins, replacing Concheck. So Elden Miller, I think, is going to go with a 3-guard lineup now, but it's not his normal 3-guard lineup. This will be Huggins, Jones, and Troy Taylor. Ordinarily, he likes to have Ron Stokes in there. And Steve Hale has replaced Braddock at point guard for North Carolina. There's a walking violation against Huggins. Huggins, a little collision out there, but he walked, and that turns it back to North Carolina with 10:59 remaining in the first half.
It's awful tough to make a call against that bench. Everybody on the Carolina bench involved in that call.
Of course, North Carolina came back to defend its national championship and lost its first 2 games of the year, then really got hot in January. Lost 3 straight games. Villanova won of them in late in the season. Now the hook shot by Perkins. Rebound is picked off here by Huggins. Ohio State with just a moderate break, trailing by 9 points. It's the biggest lead of the game for North Carolina. Ohio State's offense has been shut off. And inside now there's a collision, a loose ball, and North Carolina will come up with it. Ohio State's Keith Wesson ran right into Doherty, and the ball was knocked loose.
And Hale may have walked. He fell to the floor with the ball, but it was not called.
17-8. Midway in the first. Backdoor, Matt Doherty. North Carolina has played almost flawless ball. They've had 3 turnovers, but other than that, they've dominated Ohio State in the first 10 minutes of this game and now have an 11-point lead, 19-8.
Well, their motion sets you up for that backdoor. They'll pass it up until it's open and then nail you with it.
They have kept the ball from on the outside. They've not been able to get it in. The big Waiters, there's another example. Michael Jordan, who sagged back to front Waiters from the inside. He was covered from behind. And so with 9:40 to go, we get a timeout with North Carolina on the march toward Albuquerque. Timeout on the core and the score. North Carolina 19 and Ohio State 8. North Carolina enjoying its biggest lead of the game right now at 19-8 with 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first half. The Tar Heels have steadily improved with a young lineup that's including freshman Brad Dougherty, who turned 17 only in October. So he is only a babe in arms. And Michael Jordan has been moved to guard. So let's give it to Dean Smith, a much bigger lineup and a much more effective one. Do you imagine, Bill, in 17 years, his team's won 429 games?
Well, one of these things on the offensive end that I've noticed, Ohio State hasn't been able to get that ball in low. The switching defenses have hurt them.
Well, they've come with their 2 quick guards for the first time. Now here's Stokes. He's in teaming with Troy Taylor. And Campbell bounces inside, and it's a push off by Keith Wesson. Wesson trying to get the inside edge on Sam Perkins, pushed off on him, and that's 16 fouls against Ohio State, their limit. One more, and we'll go to the bonus. It was the first one on Wesson.
Your guards are key against a team that switches defenses as North Carolina does. And I think Ohio State has 4 fine guards.
19-8 North Carolina. Still a man from that defense by Ohio State. They clear out the middle, give it to Michael Jordan, trying to go one-on-one against the little Ron Stokes, who's only 5'11". Tar Heels will try to exploit that mismatch on the inside. You see, they're looking for Jordan continuously. Now it's stolen away. Troy Taylor racing with Stokes. Here's Taylor feeding to Stokes. Stokes spins inside, tries to get it back on the outside, and it's stolen by Perkins, and there's a foul on Taylor. 3 fouls on Troy Taylor, putting Ohio State deeper in the hole with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, this is the part that Carolina does well. Everybody recovering to help out, to defend on the break, and coming up with the ball. Doherty was the last man. He was at the top of the key on a quick turnover. Good aggressive defense.
Elden Miller talking here with Larry Huggins and the rest of the Ohio State bench. They're in deep troubles. North Carolina's off to an 11-point lead and showing no signs of wilting. Now Michael Jordan over Stokes. Rebound, Brad Dougherty underneath, powers it up, and he draws
offense.
Yep, offensive push-off. Number 2 on Brad Dougherty.
That's
North Carolina's young 7-footer.
That lean in that you see, he'll try and go back towards the glass, and no question, the foul as Keith Wesson picks it up.
Well, that's a foul they should have been calling more years ago. Offense has had too much of an edge. There's the story here from the Carrier Dome with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. North Carolina now in that swarming zone. Ron Stokes on Jimmy Braddock. They want to get it inside to Wesson. Here comes Stokes, cut off, back to Taylor. Taylor drives through for the layup shot.
And what happened there, Wesson walked over to Granville Waiters, and the defense turned their head to permit the penetration.
And 13 minutes since the last basket by Ohio State. 8 minutes to go in the first half. 19-10. Well, it's been 5 minutes since the last. They score with 13 minutes to go. Now we have 8. Sam Perkins gets it over Waiters. Rebound by Keith Wesson, Ohio State. Now the Buckeyes have a chance to get it back within 7. Trailing by 9. Troy Taylor cut off by Jordan. Taylor keeps going, gets off a nice fake, and Taylor scores. 2 in a row by little Troy Taylor. After he picked up his 3rd foul, he's come to life.
Well, Elden Miller feels there's snow tomorrow. Why not let him play? Hopefully he'll be intelligent enough not to commit a silly foul.
Inside Perkins, knocked down by Waiters. Granville Waiters on a takeaway. Another turnover, and Perkins fouls in backcourt for his 2nd. Little frustration foul by Perkins. Unusual for him, and Elden Miller's team getting a little spark for the first time in the game.
Well, that foul by Sam Perkins, you mentioned, is uncharacteristic of his style of play. Ohio State hangs in there. They're a confident ball club. They did not get the start Elden Miller would have enjoyed, but they're hanging in. They're getting better shots. When they're patient on the offensive end with their screen-aways, Carolina has been switching inside, and it's given them a little penetration with the dribble. Also caught the Tar Heels asleep on occasion.
Yeah, 1-1 to Troy Taylor, who combines with Ron Stokes to give Ohio State exceptional quickness in the backcourt. Curtis Hunter's return for North Carolina. Taylor gets the bonus. Now it's 19-13. Ohio State scored the last 5 points. 6 in a row for the Buckeyes. 19-14. Ohio State's coming back. Zone trap knocked down. Troy Taylor's got it. Taylor with a jump shot inside. Rebound. Campbell puts it up on the inside, and it is tipped in. Keith Wesson, I think, will get credit, but a North Carolina player hit it.
I think Perkins may have put it in.
19-16. The lead has dropped from 11 to 3, and the Buckeye faithful are coming to life. 6 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the first half. They will fake the back door. Campbell shuts it off. Jordan is out of there for the moment. Wow, North Carolina's got to go to somebody else. And there's Jimmy Braddock, a great perimeter shooter. Braddock lets it go. He can drill him. Jimmy Braddock's first basket. All 5 starters now have scored for North Carolina, 21-16.
Unflustered, finding himself open and making it. That's what makes them a fine club. They all can hurt you.
And a charging foul on Stokes, set up on the double team. A defense again pulls off the big play for North Carolina. Stokes' first foul, and it'll be a 1-and-1 for the Tar Heels.
What happens frequently with the switching defense is the guards are okay, but the forwards think, well, they've been in a zone. Now we can go down to the low forward spot, and they have to be alert to help out for a passing outlet.
Elden Miller, who not only played under Ray Mears, but succeeded him as a head coach at Wittenberg when he was only 23 years old. What a tender age to get into coaching. Bill, how old were you? You were 24, right?
Believe it or not, I was 21.
How about that? Warren Martin returns, replacing Brad Dougherty, and Jimmy Braddock waits at the line for the 1-and-1. Bill, you know, a lot of players would be happy just to play in 109 games in the career. Jimmy Braddock has played in 109 victories.
Incredible. I saw that stat. You think he'll remember his career?
Oh, boy. He has played in every game since he's been at North Carolina. This is 135th in a row, which is an all-time record for the Tar Heels at Chapel Hill.
109-25. Wish my coaching record were as good.
23-16. North Carolina's come back with 4 straight points now and increased his lead back to 7 with 6:10 to go. Ohio State had a little run there, got it down to within 3. Zone trap. Campbell lets the ball get away, taken away by Perkins. Fast break North Carolina. And Braddock's going to have to hold up. Perkins takes the lob, hits. Perkins on the outside. North Carolina's come right back with its own streak.
So they'll make you pay. You make a mistake. Now, Tony Campbell, if he had turned, he had Keith Wesson under the basket, but he tried to dribble before he had the ball, and North Carolina will make you pay.
Larry Huggins returns, and Elden Miller will let Troy Taylor take a rest. Taylor playing with 3 personal fouls, and Huggins now will team with Ron Stokes. Stokes done a great job off the bench. He's their super sub for Ohio State, averaging 9.5 points a game, and surprisingly a couple of rebounds he comes up with. The loose ball variety. Zone defense by North Carolina. Tony Campbell trying to penetrate. It's tough to penetrate this zone. It really packs in. Defense is being good patience, and they get Taylor. Waiters open. Good patience by Ohio State.
What they do well, too, is don't penetrate against the zone and then dump the ball out.
25-18, 7-point lead by North Carolina. Braddock inside, Perkins backing in, commits his first foul. Sam Perkins trying to get closer, backed into his defender. Now North Carolina's got a little problems of its own. 3 fouls on Perkins, a key player.
Sam really didn't have to foul down in there because he had pinned Granville Waiters, but he tried to push him a little further under the basket, giving the referee
well,
no
Perkins,
alternative.
He's going to have to sit down. Perkins will go out. Brad Dougherty comes back in. Dougherty's playing with 2 personal fouls. Dean Smith juggling his tall pines. There's Sam with the rest. A lot of his hometown fans have come here to Syracuse to see him and his sensational career at Chapel Hill. Over 1,500 points he scored. And Waiters now on the line, 1-and-1. It's the first bonus situation for Ohio State. Rebound by Dougherty. Ohio State's free throwing has not been as sharp in the last couple of games as it was through most of the season.
In tournament time, that's when you have to make them.
Well, you can almost bet whoever wins the tournament is going to be a good free throwing team, or at least in a hot free throwing streak. Michael Jordan going to the hole. Brad Dougherty turning around short. Rebound tipped out. Dougherty fouls. And now Brad Dougherty's got 3 personal fouls. So both Perkins and Dougherty with 3 apiece in the first half with 4.5 minutes to go. Get a feeling maybe, Bill, this game could tighten up.
Well, immediately, Dean Smith going with John Brownlee to save Brad Dougherty. Ohio State last week, they just do enough things to get their composure back.
There's Dean, who played on the national championship team at Kansas, had coached one last year, which puts him in the category with Bob Knight of Indiana. I don't know if anybody else fits in there or not. Concheck gets a bonus.
I believe they're the only two in the country that have played and then coached to an NCAA championship.
Of course, Knight played for the same Ohio State team. That was 1950 when they had Lucas, Havlicek, and a great team. And he's coached 2 national champions in Indiana. 25-20. The Buckeyes have moved back within 5 with 4.5 minutes to go. So there's time on the court. The score in North Carolina 25, Ohio State 20. The Ohio State Buckeyes out of the Big Ten, an at-large selection after finishing second in the Big Ten race to Indiana. And here tonight taking on the defending national NCAA champion North Carolina Tar Heels. Trying to make it 2 in a row. Each 15 won 27 and lost 7. Only 5 of the North Carolina teams have won more. 81 team won 29. The 130 games twice, and then the 132 in 1957 and also last year. 25-20 North Carolina, zone press by Ohio State. They're working over to Brownlee. North Carolina now really got an inexperienced man on the inside. Brownlee and Warren Martin teaming with Jordan. Guards have moved back Doherty to guard.
And after the timeout, 2-3 zone, Elden Miller giving a little of his medicine.
Might not be a good time, Bill, for North Carolina just to run off some time here, but they go with Jordan to the corner. Rebound kept alive, but Concheck's got it for Ohio State. They're going to hold it up. Buckeyes can pull within 3 with a basket. So that's how close this game is. Ron Stokes dribbles away from the double team. Trap. Concheck, good shooter from the perimeter with a left-hand shot. Joe Concheck cuts it to 3 with 3:40 to go. 25-22 North Carolina. Braddock being pressed by Ron Stokes. Now Ohio State drops back to a 2-3 zone, keeping Waiters in the lane. Surprised North Carolina with their big men in foul trouble. Don't pull it out a little bit, Bill.
Well, it's not the kind of lineup they're used to. The 2 big people down low, 3 starters in the game outside, and the foul there by Ronnie Stokes on a reach-in, which is a break. They had stymied them offensively.
Well, they almost had that ball loose for a breakaway. Stokes gets his 2nd personal foul. North Carolina's in the bonus, and Doherty will go to the line. Matt is 2 for 2. He's another native New Yorker from East Meadow, New York. So Perkins and Doherty come back to their home state to play for North Carolina. Ohio State has no New Yorkers. Although Tony Campbell's from New Jersey. Right.
I believe Matt played at Holy Trinity out there on the island.
Bonus shot coming for Doherty.
I don't think the lineup is the type that Dean would bring the ball out and hold it to answer you from earlier.
Well, of course, we're still in the first half. Long time to go. 27-22, 5-point lead. Dean obviously is going to hold Daugherty and Perkins out for the rest of this half, each with 3 fouls. Zone defense here. They go weak side to Stokes, trying to get Concheck open or get the ball inside the Waiters. And there it is to Campbell for a short one, and a foul call on Concheck on the play, crashing to the board, but Campbell gets the basket.
What happened on that particular zone offense, that slot where Stokes received the ball has been open. Matt Doherty can't get out to intercept it, and then when he does come out, he's at a disadvantage. Tony Campbell is free in the back of the zone, so Ohio State handling the ball well against the zone.
North Carolina and Ohio State each received byes through the first round. Tar Heels defeated James Madison 68-49 in the second round at Greensboro. Ohio State defeated Syracuse 79-74 at Hartford. Rebound by Waiters. Well, North Carolina fails on the 1-and-1 with Jordan. 27-24. Buckeyes have a chance to move within 1 point. Waiters has been covered up on the inside with his zone defense. That's one thing North Carolina's taken away. Stokes now with blast offside. Here goes Concheck open, and he hits.
They had switched to man there, and Ohio State handled it well. The changing defense, no problem in that sequence.
Ohio State back within 1. Buckeyes have never led in the game. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Foul-plagued North Carolina has its lead in jeopardy here. A very big possession at this stage in the first half. Ohio State in the zone defense, trying to keep the middle passing lanes clogged up. Not putting a lot of pressure on the outside. North Carolina wanting to get the ball to Michael Jordan. Now less than 2 minutes to go in the half.
Normally Carolina is good with the ball. And tonight they've had some problems with it.
There goes the man Jordan. Rebound is lost out by Doherty. And it'll be Ohio State's ball, and the Buckeyes will have a chance to get their first lead of the ball game. North Carolina brings in Curtis Hunter and takes out Michael Jordan. 1 minute, 40 seconds to go in the first half. Been a good comeback by Ohio State, aided perhaps by the fact that Sam Perkins and Brad Daugherty, two other big men, are in foul trouble.
That and some of the shots that Carolina has taken have hurt them.
Plus, Ohio State has got Campbell and Concheck on the floor of their offense. They've been hitting the baseline jump shot. Zone defense by the Tar Heels.
Now Larry Huggins has to look for his shot.
They're trying to protect the slam, 1 point lead. There's Huggins, and Ohio State leads for the first time. You called it, Bill.
Well, he's such a fine shooter, and that's the top of the key, the middle of the zone, has been open.
28-27, Ohio State leading. 1 minute to go in the first half. North Carolina, let's see how they respond here after losing the lead. Here's Curtis Hunter, can penetrate. Jordan and Perkins both are out of there right now. Jordan with a rest, Perkins on 3 fouls. Ohio State zones, kept the ball on the outside. Matt Doherty will take the outside shot and the rebound, and a personal foul on Exum. Cecil Exum was blocked out perfectly by Concheck.
Well, a 2-3 zone gives you good rebounding position, and North Carolina tonight, for the first time, and you've seen them a lot, they've been going over the top quite a bit. They've been pushing instead of saying good defensive play and going down the other end. I think that's hurt them in their fouls.
Well, Ohio State was the hottest team in the Big Ten down through a good part of February. And they earned their way in here with a second-place finish, although they were beaten soundly in their showdown with Indiana in the game finale. They've come back strong to beat Syracuse. Now they've wiped out an 11-point North Carolina lead.
I also believe, reading the papers and coming in here to Syracuse, everybody has Carolina playing on Sunday. You have to do it out here, and I'm sure that's what Dean's going to talk about.
Well, they talked a lot about the Ohio State-St. John's game. I'm sure Georgia must feel the same way. Ohio State. That's Alan Quartercracks, a 6'9 freshman for Ohio State. Goes in replacing Granville Waiters. And I don't think Elden wants Waiters to get a second personal foul. Concheck both ends. 10 points for Concheck. Ohio State leads by 3. Biggest lead of the Buckeyes. North Carolina led this game 18 to, let's see, they led it 18 to 7. So it's been 23 to 9. Ohio State's outscored North Carolina. North Carolina going to wait for the last shot. 12 seconds to go. They'll try to go in trailing by 1 or no more than 3. And inside they go to Warren Martin, falls a little short when he gets it with 2 seconds to go. And that'll cut Ohio State's lead down to 1 point as North Carolina beautifully worked that ball for a final shot. And that's how it ends here at the first half at the beautiful Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. That's the end of the first half of play with a score. Ohio State 30 and North Carolina 29. We'll be back after these messages with our halftime program. Back now to the magnificent Carrier Dome. This is the semifinal of the NCAA East Regional. North Carolina won it all last year, and now they have had Ohio State take the lead at the half, 30-29, after the Tar Heels had led by 11 at one stage in the first half. Let's see how we go in the second half. Both Sam Perkins and Brad Daugherty will be starting the second half with their foul trouble. Granville Waiters helped to get it in on the press. Ohio State with their same opening lineup, and here we go, Bill.
Well, you beat the press, throw it up in the air, let the big guy go for it.
30-29, Ohio State traditionally has been very strong in the opening minutes of a half. One of their trademarks under Dean Smith. They're playing a very aggressive, pressing man pressure defense right now. Tony Campbell wants it inside. Troy Taylor drives in close, tipped in. Oh, missed by Waiters, and it's tipped on the outside, and Perkins will get it. Perkins racing with Huggins. Perkins fouled by Huggins on the play.
And I didn't think Granville Waiters did a real intelligent thing. I thought he should have just tipped it and got the goal instead of the glitter.
Well, he went for the slam dunk, and Ohio State could have had a 3-point lead. 2 shots now for Sam Perkins here at the Carrier Dome. When the first minute of the second half, Ohio State leading North Carolina by the halftime score of 30-29. Jim Thacker with Bill Raftery on hand for this NCAA East semifinal. Two shots will go to Sam Perkins. He just scored his 8th point to tie the score at 30.
Elden Miller came right after Sam Perkins. They were trying to get the ball down into Tony Campbell on offense. We'll look for that as the game progresses.
Well, this guy never looks excited. What an intense competitor. North Carolina back in the lead. Early in the second half, North Carolina's regained the lead over Ohio State, 30-31. And less than 45 seconds to go. There's the ball knocked out of bounds by Perkins. Trailer was trapped down there for Ohio State by Michael Jordan and Jim Braddock. Tried to bounce the ball off Braddock's foot, got it back, and then knocked out of bounds. Elden Miller had his Ohio State coming from behind, wants timeout. There was the Buckeyes going immediately for a timeout as soon as they lost their lead. 1 minute gone in the second half, and the score is North Carolina 31, Ohio State 30. Well, it took North Carolina only about 45 seconds to get back in the lead in the first half. Now Ohio State will put the ball in play. Buckeyes using their second timeout. North Carolina's led to call one, Bill.
Well, Dean likes to save them, but Elden Miller didn't like the trap there. Called one earlier to get back in the ball game. 2 good timeouts.
Huggins, Concheck, both good perimeter shooters. There goes Concheck with the left hand. And rebound is down by Perkins. North Carolina's got a chance to add to its lead early in the second half. Zone defense by Ohio State. Very tough to guard players like Michael Jordan. Jordan wanted the lob then for the alley-oop. Went back door. Jordan penetrating. Outside Braddock with a one-hander. Rebound comes to Huggins for Ohio State. Buckeyes can go back on top. Minute and a half into the second half.
They're going to call a walk here.
A walk on Huggins, who's pointing toward his pivot foot, but to no avail. The ball will be turned over to North Carolina. Turnovers in the first half. North Carolina had 8. And Ohio State had 7.
And I agree with Larry Huggins. He spun on his foot. Reverse pivot, didn't move the foot.
31-30. North Carolina leads. Ohio State sticks with its zone defense. Trying to keep the ball away from Michael Jordan on the inside or Sam Perkins.
North Carolina runs that double post zone offense. High and low.
2 minutes gone in the second half. North Carolina's come back to lead. Inside Jordan. And it is pulled down by Tony Campbell. Campbell comes out for Ohio State. Huggins off the fast break. And here's a battle for the rebound. The foul is going to be on Perkins. Will be his 4th. Oh, a big foul in the game for Ohio State. And now a decision for Dean Smith. His All-American forward has picked up a 4th foul with over 17 and a half minutes to go.
And you saw in the first half how poorly Carolina was playing without Sam Perkins. He's an important player for this fine club.
Well, you can say that again. Perkins, who's averaged over 17 points and almost 10 rebounds a game, but that doesn't tell his true worth here. He's always been at his best in NCAA games. 31-30. North Carolina leads by a point. Ohio State could get back on top right here with a score. There's their hot shooter, Concheck from the corner. Layup, rebound by Troy Taylor in the crowd. Tony Campbell, the jump shot, and Ohio State has the lead. And there's a push-off foul, I think, on Granville Waiters of Ohio State. But that shot by Campbell will put Ohio State back in the lead. 32-31. Waiters picks up his 2nd personal foul. But Granville looks like he cannot understand it. But he was a push-off underneath. Now, in the Big Ten, they let you do that a little bit. Maybe that's one of the reasons.
Well, you told me it's a physical conference.
There's the alley-oop to Jordan. And Jordan is fouled by Concheck. That has turned on the North Carolina fans, and it could turn on the North Carolina team. A sensational alley-oop.
And Jimmy Braddock throws that pass from the middle of the floor. Normally, a guard will get on an angle. It's a very difficult pass. It has to be rehearsed.
Jordan has been the hero in the close games this year. Over Maryland, over Tulane, over Virginia. He did the heroic stuff at the end of the game every time. Here he has brought North Carolina back in the lead, 34-32. Over 17 minutes to go. Well, you've seen two great athletic moves. One a moment ago by Tony Campbell on a rebound, and then Michael Jordan on the offensive line.
Doherty's having problems staying with Concheck man-to-man.
Screen by Taylor, foul by Jordan. Jordan reached in, tried to slap on the ball, and he must have caught a tip of the hand of Troy Taylor. Second foul on Michael Jordan.
This is one of those fouls that referees don't enjoy calling either. Flicking away.
Well, it was a little below our camera range, but the official, you could see, was right on top of the play. 34-32 Ohio. North Carolina, Ohio State going for a tie. It's the 13th NCAA for Ohio State. North Carolina's been in 16 and 17 in their career. Actually, this is the 17th time. There's Concheck hitting the tie. Concheck with 12 points, leading everybody in scoring right now. That's 5 times the lead's changed hands. Battling for the right to play either St. John's or Georgia. Jordan in close. Rebound, tapped out of bounds, and will go to Ohio State.
Well, I thought Granville Waiters knocked the ball out, and so did the Carolina bench.
Well, it must have hit a North Carolina player. Perhaps it was Brad Doherty right there who was under the basket. 34-34 tie. Only the first time in the game it's actually been tied. Stokes back in for Ohio State. Stokes feeds into Waiters. Won't count. He walked. Good penetration by Stokes to feed the Waiters. That's been a pet play pattern for Ohio State all year. Either Stokes or Taylor penetrating and feeding off to Waiters or Campbell.
Now, North Carolina's gotten the ball into the teeth of the zone. That last missed shot by Michael Jordan was an excellent shot.
I think somebody got a piece of that. It was partially tapped. Warren Martin on the inside. Good fake. Jump shot. Tipped up on the inside twice and in by Brad Doherty.
He reached under the rim across on that tip-in.
36-34. North Carolina regains the lead. Now goes Stokes way outside. Rebound by North Carolina. Here comes Braddock on the fast break. Braddock cut off of the baseline by Concheck. North Carolina trying to get a streak going. There goes Michael Jordan off the dribble. Rebound Concheck and a push off inside by Waiters.
Well, I think on Concheck, Jim.
Was it? Okay. Concheck picks up his third.
And this is what happens when you can't get up as high as some of the other people. Concheck pushing down low, shoving Matt Doherty, using his bulk.
That was great block out offensively by North Carolina, wasn't it? Usually you figure the defense has the box out. Actually, the Tar Heels, the attacking team, had the box.
They reversed the role.
36-34. 2-point lead in North Carolina. Ohio State 2-3 zone. Brad Doherty. There goes Jordan out of the corner. Rebound comes to Troy Taylor. Ohio State with its fast break. Taylor in the middle. Taylor likes to take it all the way. And he is fouled as he goes by Jordan. And now Michael Jordan has 3 personal fouls. North Carolina beginning to hurt a little bit in the foul column. Perkins already sitting down with 4. Jordan gets his third and joined Brad Doherty.
Troy Taylor shows his extraordinary speed, getting down the floor and throwing up this flyer that almost went in. Jordan with the foul.
Troy Taylor scored 6 points the first half. Dean Smith now has some new worries to contend with. Defeated Ohio State in the 1968 semifinals, did Dean Smith's team. That was one of those UCLA years.
Well, jumping back into the offense for North Carolina, they've been getting good shots. Michael Jordan missed a couple of open jumpers deep, one in the lane. They got the tip in off a very good shot. So they're doing the things a coach looks for. It's just now a matter of making the shot.
Both ends by Taylor, ties it up again. 36-36. Ohio State steals. Wild Thunder. Concheck runs for the layup. Basket's good and a foul on Hunter. Big Turner created by Troy Taylor's quickness.
Good hands. They've been putting the full court pressure on and off after a goal. And Taylor alertly throwing the ball to the basket, making sure he didn't throw it at the Carolina end to start a fast break for them. He did the only thing he could do, threw it up towards his hoop.
Joe Concheck's season high was 16 points. He now has 14. And guess where he scored the 16? On this floor right here against Syracuse in December. So he likes this place. Rebound ripped off by Brad Dougherty. 38-36. Ohio State is back on top. 14 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Inside, Brad Dougherty, up over his man. Dougherty bangs it in off the glass for his 10th point.
Anytime you can get the ball into that 3-second lane as easily as Carolina is getting it in there, you're going to have success.
They wanted to go with the alley-oop. There it is to Waiters inside, and Waiters is fouled by Dougherty, and now Dougherty has 4. And North Carolina is in a critical condition now with its big men in foul trouble.
I don't think Dean is used to this. He's very upset at the touch calls and some of the close calls that have gone against him.
Well, I would have to say, Bill, that if anybody's not used to it, it'd be more likely to be Ohio State.
Well, here we see it, the alley-oop, and the forearm really is where Dougherty fouled. He was smart. He kept the one hand up.
Smith still out. He thought he had a jump ball. I thought he got him with the body, to be honest with you.
What I meant about Dean, though, is he's been in it a lot of years. Referees know that, and occasionally may think about his position in the basketball world.
38-38 tie. Ohio State has a chance to jump back in the lead. Concheck. Concheck's had a shot shooting hand. There's a travel by Stokes as he penetrated. Another travel. Players like Stokes, North Carolina's Michael Jordan, who love to drive toward the hole, often will make that quick step and travel.
Well, some people might think that was to help Dean out, but it was a walk.
14 minutes to go in the game. All right, now Dave Jones returns for Ohio State, replacing Stokes. So Ohio State loses a half step in quickness, but they get Jones, the tough defensive player, back in the ballgame.
And he possesses that precious commodity. He does not turn the ball over much at all.
Outstanding athlete. Now Jordan trying to sneak over for the lob. Warren Martin inside. Martin fakes. Martin goes under, and the basket will not count. He was fouled by Jones. First foul on Jones. Ohio State now has picked up 5 team fouls in the second half, and North Carolina picked up 5 also. Neither team's on the bonus, but getting close. There's Jones. Great high school athlete he was. High school track and football star at Jewett, Ohio. Talking about his turnovers, he had only 14 in over 300 minutes. The score's tied at 38. North Carolina would like to work it inside, but Ohio State's on the zone. They're looking for Michael Jordan. There he is. Michael Jordan has to get it back to Matt Doherty. Tar Heels are very deliberate right here, looking for their shot selection.
Well, they're getting the ball where they want it.
There goes Doherty outside, taken away by Martin. Martin went over Tony Campbell with his frame of 7 feet and put it in. A big basket for North Carolina. They're back in the lead, 40-38.
Doherty felt he got hit on the jump shot.
Now Ohio State has to come from behind. Tar Heels go to a zone defense. Jump shot by Jones outside. Tipped up and in by Waiters. And he fouls on the play. Basket is good.
He fouled his own man. And he's right. He fouled Concheck on the push-off. And it's in utter disbelief. Granville Waiters signaled for the foul. You'll see here, Granville will push Concheck.
Well, I don't know. They're going to rule he hit Brownlee, I guess.
He may have used Brownlee to push Concheck.
That was the third foul by Waiters, but he gets the basket, and the score is tied at 40. Now, Elden Miller, Dean Smith, both had gone to midcourt.
They were talking with one another about the officials in the heat of the battle.
The only thing they agree about is neither is happy at this moment. High score. Over 12 and a half minutes to go. Braddock trying to work the ball to the inside. Ohio State packed in with a zone, keeping Waiters close to the basket. But now Waiters playing with 3 fouls. Now Ohio State is a little foul trouble.
What Carolina does, they run the 3 inside people from the corner to the high and low post, and it's very effective.
Well, Braddock's always a threat from the perimeter. He can pull out and open up some passing lanes.
I think Dean calls this his T game, Dean Smith. It's very effective in getting the ball down on the block, which is tough against the zone.
Meantime, Jordan's always constantly moving, trying to get open in there. 12 minutes to go. High score at 40. Jordan in a pack. Loose ball, and a foul is going to be called on Jones. Dave Jones, second personal foul. And North Carolina now is on the bonus. And it'll fall on the shoulders of All-American White Michael Jordan to give his team the lead. Right there's Jordan and a look-alike in Curtis Hunter, whom many say is going to be another Michael Jordan of sorts. But he'll have to wait for some playing time. Eldon Miller, very deliberately here, explaining things to Larry Huggins.
Well, Huggins opens things up for this club. He's a good shooter. He really should look more for his shot as an observation by me. I think he could be more effective if he could look for that jump shot, because he does the other things well for Eldon Miller.
Only 2 other sophomores reached the 1,000-point mark in their sophomore career were Sam Perkins and Phil Ford. But Jordan scored more than either one. Rebound pulled down by Huggins, who just came off the bench, and Ohio State takes it again with a score tied at 40. Now 11:50 to go in the game. Trail on a drive, reach-in foul is by Hale. Steve Hale. And now Ohio State getting close to the bonus. That's 16 fouls against North Carolina. One more, and they go in the bonus shot.
Well, Steve's dad was a coach at Southern Idaho Junior College when I met him first, and then later on at Oral Roberts. Did a great job.
Jerry Hale. The Tulsa area produced 3 great players last year. Mark Price went to Georgia Tech, and of course the great Wayman Tisdale.
Not a bad rookie.
Troy Taylor off for a quick pass, and a foul called on Hunter. Taylor has just put Ohio State in the lead, and he's fouled on the play by Curtis Hunter. And if that foul, let's see if it's going to be a foul as he shot or after.
Well, Eldon Miller's asking for the 1-and-1, and it was a wise suggestion. We'll see on the signal. Yes, it could be a 4-point play.
If he gets a 1-and-1, it certainly could. I think he was fouled after he released the ball. Got the basket, and Taylor, who is perfect from the line with 4 for 4, will go up now and try to make it a 4-point play. What a turnaround it could be. Ohio State, rebound by Campbell, blocked down by Martin. Big defensive play, and here comes Jordan. Jordan with a fake, puts it up, and he's fouled. Foul by Waiters will be 4, and Ohio State now has tasted some of the sting of foul trouble as Granville Waiters, one of their key men.
Now this is just style. He knows the big guys there. Let him come down, lean in to make sure you have some contact, and almost make the shot. Michael Jordan.
Sporting News Player of the Year, announced just this week. Gets 2. 42-41, he can tie the score. Keith Wesson will replace Granville Waiters. We'll see what that move means to Ohio State. Waiters been the key man inside. But Waiters, just like Doherty and Perkins for North Carolina, gets his 4th foul here with over 11 minutes to go and has to sit down. Jordan ties it up. 42-42, tied for the 4th time in the game. Huggins now drives past Hale's press, gets it over the timeline. Ohio State in close, it goes to Wesson. Wesson walks, traveling, turns it over to North Carolina. The Tar Heel defense comes through again.
Well, Keith Wesson was in the middle of a power move and switch pivot feet. Jody Sylvester with the call.
North Carolina in 17 season under Dean Smith won 80%. Jordan on the outside. Rebound is going to be taken away by Ohio State, then lost. And North Carolina will hang on with exactly 11 minutes to go at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. North Carolina getting a stiff argument here from Ohio State. It's tied at 42 all. Jimmy Braddock returns after a rest. And Steve Hale goes out. So Braddock's back in. Engineer the attack for North Carolina.
Of course, Sam Perkins resting. I'm sure as long as the score is close.
Doherty off the dribble. Rebound Tony Campbell for Ohio State. Buckeyes now will have a chance to untie. 42-42. Taylor drives all the way in, then fumbles it out. Not a wise move at all. North Carolina set a stone wall defensively. Taylor could find no opening.
Over penetration. Should have brought the ball back out.
Turnovers now costing Ohio State. Tie score with 10:35 remaining. Warren Martin inside. Feeds to Curtis Hunter for layup. Beautiful penetration by Hunter. First basket by the high school All-American freshman. 44-42, North Carolina leads.
Well, the Ohio State zone is ineffective. They're letting the ball get to the very vulnerable spots. Not doing a real good job defending.
Big possession here by Ohio State. They're down by 2. They're at the halfway mark in the second half. Troy Taylor from the outside. Rebound is by Curtis Hunter. North Carolina will try to pad its lead at the midway point. 10 minutes to go. Ohio State 2-3 zone. Jordan behind the screen has to get the ball back to the outside. Long one by Braddock. North Carolina up by 4. It's the biggest lead they've had in the second half.
Ohio State struggling on the offensive end, getting long jump shots without Granville Waiters in the ball game. They come out on them a little more.
North Carolina going to stay in the zone now with Perkins and Doherty in foul trouble. This is going to help them with a 4-point lead. Concheck off the dribble. And rebounded by Jordan, and he's fouled by Wesson. Now North Carolina beginning to gradually get a grip on control of this game.
Well, one of the key times early, Troy Taylor making the jump shot to make it 42-40. Missed the front end. Tony Campbell's shot block and a fast break at the other end. And started them rolling.
That's 6 straight points by North Carolina. Michael Jordan will try to add on to that. The last 15 games, he's averaged close to 22 points a game. This half, North Carolina's hit 5 out of 6 free throws. And Jordan's up there on the 1-and-1, could add 2 more.
Their zone offense is effective because Curtis Hunter and Michael Jordan are sprinting to the spots that were designed. They're not lolling through. They're spurt, quick, hard cuts, and it opens things up for North Carolina.
Both is by Jordan. And it's a big lead now by Ohio State. By the way this game is going, they're on top by 6. Biggest lead of this half. There's timeout on the court with a score. North Carolina 48. Ohio State 42. Ohio State now beginning to fall off the pace a little bit here in the face of a very steady performance by North Carolina. 9 minutes to go in the game, and North Carolina has scored the last 8 points of the game to go ahead 48-42. And Ohio State, after that timeout, let's see what they can do. Here in Syracuse, they're calling North Carolina America's team in sneakers. Reference to Dean Smith and the 2 All-Americans and the great record over the years. Zone defense by the Tar Heels. Outside there goes Huggins hitting. Well, you talked about how Larry Huggins is a little shy about letting it go, but he certainly has a great shooting percentage.
I certainly would take a lot of shots if I shot as well as he does.
48-44. Brad Doherty's back in with 4 fouls, so is Granville Waiters for Ohio State. Braddock faked the outside shot. Concheck got up to block his due.
They're more active, Ohio State, defensively in this sequence after the timeout. I'm sure Elden Miller wanted them to pursue more.
You would think that both coaches would like to go at the big men. North Carolina trying to get Waiters out there. Ohio State trying to get Doherty out. Each with 4 fouls. Talking about Brad Dougherty, the freshman. 8 minutes remaining. North Carolina up by 4. And very patient here in this particular possession.
Curtis Hunter's done a terrific job as a substitute. Dean Smith not liking the offense as he looks at it, calling for the timeout.
Now he goes for the timeout with his team in a 4-point lead. So there's timeout for Carolina. With the score, North Carolina 48 and Ohio State 44. Well, you're getting a look here at this Carrier Dome, one of the great facilities on any campus in the country. Actually seats 55,000 for football, and this just one corner of it is holding maybe 21 or 22,000 for the East Regional on the NCAA tonight. Great place, Bill. You've been here many times.
It's an extraordinary facility. We've walked around it for a couple of days.
What do you think of that timeout?
Well, I'm thinking Dean may ask his club to get them out of the zone, bring the ball out, maybe see if Ohio State will come out. And I think Elden Miller, on the other hand, is saying, look, if they hold it for a while, we'll end up coming out if we have to.
Well, they're not spreading it yet. Sam Perkins has returned. That might have been what he wanted in the timeout. Perkins and Dougherty both in there. Now they're going to spread the court a little bit. Ohio State staying in the zone, but coming out to put enough pressure on to move the ball.
Well, Elden Miller's countering with guard defense, coming up on the pressuring the ball.
Tar Heels are slowing it down a little bit.
Now, see, I agree with this. I think what Dean Smith wants to do is bring them out and then play. It's not an all-out delay, as you know it.
That's not the 4 corners, but it's a little bit of a spread. They're spreading the Ohio State defense. They were Jordan faking a shot. We're down almost the 7-minute mark right here. 4-point lead by North Carolina.
See, Dean also keeps Daugherty and Perkins on the floor without a problem with this.
Perkins is very clever here, running the baseline to get open. Now fans beginning to boo a little bit. This is not the regular 4-corner spread. Normally they got 3 men outside. They got Jordan just stationed in the middle, but they spread the other guys out. They're spreading it wider and wider, Bill. Elden Miller.
Well, I think he's going to have to make a decision.
Well, he should have anticipated this. Jordan inside goes for it. Michael Jordan goes for the score.
So what they do is they relax you.
And then they put the zinger.
And of course, Elden Miller, really, you're only down 4. He didn't mind them holding the ball a little bit. Now, Elden wants a timeout. I think you'll see some changes, particularly on the defensive end.
All right, we could see, for one thing, Ron Stokes get in the lineup along with Taylor, which gives him considerably more quickness.
Quickness, pressure on the basketball. The big thing with Carolina is they're so good at changing tempos during a game. They want to have Ohio State come out of the zone. And then Jordan got the ball so easily on the foul line. They had spread the zone, and now he goes hard to the basket.
Well, let's see how they set this up for Jordan. They've gone in there 2 or 3 times with nothing particular happening like that.
See how they have them spread? There's no guard pressure there. And now an alley to the lane.
Now, Waiters really couldn't go after him because he has 4 fouls.
Plus, he was over on the box, right side. He really couldn't get over there in time to block the shot.
And there's the story. North Carolina 50, Ohio State 44. Ohio State this year won 20 last night. They came in here by defeating Syracuse 79-74 in the second round. Henry has an at-large team. There's the North Carolina bench. No celebrating either side here as yet. Tremendous crowd. Nobody's going to be the largest crowds of the NCAA championships here in the Carrier Dome. Over 20,000. Sam Perkins.
Well, he's got to be careful now. They'll need him. He's a valuable weapon.
And out of the corner, Campbell scores for Ohio State. So the Buckeyes get it back very quickly. 50-46, and Ohio State's in the man-for-man, and Stokes and Taylor both are in there. Now they got an open middle. They have to look out here for North Carolina drive players in there. Ohio State definitely man-for-man. Doherty. Stokes is on Jordan. Let's see if Jordan, who's taller, might try to take him inside. A lot of time to go, over 5.5 minutes.
And they're in their spread, delay.
They'll try to get Jordan down close with Stokes.
They also run that 4C, their coaching staff calls it. And what they're looking for out of that is a back door.
Yep, and there it is, back door to Perkins. And the shot is missed, and outside it comes to Taylor for Ohio State. Taylor takes it inside, and it's a charging foul on Taylor. Great defensive play by Braddock. 4 fouls on Taylor.
And I don't agree with the call at all. You must be stationary. And
Great.
there's
Good block by Waiters, wasn't it?
And he flicked the ball out to keep it alive. And Troy Taylor now, see if Braddock establishes or he's sliding. It looks like he's still sliding.
Now you may be right. There was a little movement laterally there.
Absolutely. And a legitimate complaint by Troy Taylor.
So that'll put Braddock on the line for the 1-and-1. Braddock has scored 6 points tonight. North Carolina, of course, is a team that has had to adjust back to normal rules after playing in the ACC with the 30-second shot clock and the 3-point goal. Bonus shot for Braddock. 51-46, North Carolina up by 5. North Carolina having an outstanding line at the free throw line, 15 out of 17.
You mentioned in the first half, to go far in a tournament, you have to make those free throws.
Both ends. North Carolina back up by 6, 52-46. Last time Ohio State went to Toby Campbell.
The hard thing on that foul call against Troy Taylor is that was number 4 also.
Inside Waiters, knocked out by Jordan. Oh, he almost came off the interception. That's what Jordan is so adept at, making steals. He has tied Walter Davis for the number 2 spot in career steals. He's only a sophomore.
It's the speed. He came from the far side to get his hand on that pass.
Ohio State realize there goes Campbell again. Rebound by Brad Doherty, and Campbell with a big miss. North Carolina's up by a half dozen. 4.5 minutes to go in the game. North Carolina has the lead, 52-46. Here's Matt Doherty driving layup. Doherty took him one-on-one, and that equals the biggest lead of the game in the second half. Ohio State has just called timeout here in Syracuse. Just over 11 minutes to go, as for the second time this half, North Carolina goes up by 8. So there's timeout on the court with the score. North Carolina 54, Ohio State 46. North Carolina's moved out again here in the second half. They were down here in the second half by 3 points. And now they're up by 8, 54-46. Our Heels were asked if there was pressure defending the national championship, and Dean Smith said that seemed like 5 years ago. But what do you have to do against the four corners, Bill?
Well, the problem Ohio State has is foot speed right now because they're spreading the floor. You have to play your own man and try and contain him if he has the ball. When he gives it up, don't let him get it back. You can't help out as much in the four corner.
Well, they also have to make these possessions count. There's Granville Waiters, little soft hook shot. Rebound by Sam Perkins.
And Sam Perkins intimidated a little bit from behind Brad Daugherty.
54-46, North Carolina. They'll go back now to a very patient attack here with the lead. They'll nurse this lead very well. And there's almost a 5-second call. They get it away. Backdoor Perkins for the jam. And he's fouled by Campbell.
Well, that's the 4 to score. Some coaches call it, I believe, Dean Smith calls it 4C, and they just set you up, lull you to sleep, and a quick back cut, good pass, and the finish by Sam Perkins.
Could be a 3-point play. North Carolina's biggest lead of the game was 11 points, and Perkins can equal that right here. Against postseason teams that are playing this year, Perkins averaged 20.5 points and 9 rebounds a game. He really plays the crucial spot. Back to Perkins on the tap out. Smart play with North Carolina up by 10. Tar Heels now seem to have control of the game.
Brad Doherty's a lot better player than I thought.
There goes Jordan, blocked by Waiters, then lost out by Doherty. 56-46, North Carolina by 10. Time running out for Ohio State. There's the score with the time to go, just over 3 minutes.
They'll probably score, set up the press.
Tony Campbell banks it in. Campbell scores his 13th point. 56-48. Under 3 minutes to go. North Carolina, excellent team, controlling the ball in these situations. Four-pointer looking for the back door. And Jordan's got it. Jordan inside, but he is fouled by Stokes. Third foul on Stokes.
It's very hard to defend, particularly when they have you on the ropes. You've got to deny the ball. Ronnie Stokes is outside denying, as the coach asked him. And Michael Jordan with terrific cutting, quick, spurting speed.
That's a pretty good athletic move, though, by little Stokes. He got a hand on the ball, even though he fouled him. So Jordan, who's hit 5 out of 6 free throws, goes back here to the 1-and-1. Winner of this game will play in the East Region Finals on Sunday against either St. John's or Georgia. Forgive me, it wasn't a 1-and-1, of course, it was a 2-shot foul. Jordan has hit 5 in a row. 17 out of 19 in the game for North Carolina. The free throws are the difference in the game right now. 58-48, Tar Heels by 10. And Ohio State is in a time-buying situation. 2.5 minutes to go. There goes Torrey Taylor outside, put up inside by Jones on a layup. Won't count. Campbell tipped it in. It was in the cylinder. And Ohio State loses a precious 2 points as North Carolina continues its drive.
It's so tempting when you're up there to finish it off. It's so hard to resist. Of course, you had that big play in the Georgia game.
Well, it might have gone, it might have not. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. The play in the Georgia game you're talking about was against Virginia Commonwealth when the winning basket appeared to have offensive interference. Braddock wide open, feeding to Perkins. Now North Carolina moving away from Ohio State. 12-point lead, the biggest of the game.
The key is not to let the dribbler penetrate. And Ohio State's having problems containing the ball.
There goes inside Stokes, fires it up and in. Stokes gets his first basket. 60-50. 1 minute, 50 seconds remaining. Can the Tar Heels win it again for Dean Smith? Michael Jordan down the middle. Rebound by Waiters. Gets it to Campbell, but taken away by Perkins for a layup. Now Waiters again. And Ohio State will come to the attack. They're down by 10 points. Inside the Waiters for the hook shot. Rebound. Taken by Dougherty for North Carolina with 1:20 to go. And this game looks like it's got Tar Heel victory written on it. 60-50 lead. Game turned around when Ohio State took a 42-40 lead. Troy Taylor missed a 3-point field goal, a free throw try. The Tar Heels reeled off about 8 or 10 point straight points. Now we're inside the minute. Brad Dougherty breaking. No backdoor cut. North Carolina needs no more points. Well, there were no big upsets last night, Bill, although Arkansas gave a great game to Louisville. There's a reach-in foul by Stokes. Ohio State has to go desperate now.
Ohio State made a good run of this ball game. Just a fine second half. North Carolina frequently comes out well in the second half. I just think they, after the first 6 minutes, thought it was an easy game and just relaxed a little, did some silly things in the fouling category. But the second half, Dean kept them in quite a while. 2 minutes left in the halftime before North Carolina came out on the floor. I'm sure he was criticizing them.
Braddock is 4 for 4 at the line, which is indicative of the way North Carolina has hit its free throws. Young man has never missed a game in his career. was criticized early in this year when North Carolina faltered a little bit at the beginning in some views, although they're playing a breakneck schedule, the likes of St. John's, Missouri, then later Syracuse, Villanova, LSU, Tulane, Tulsa, Chattanooga, all great teams, plus an always tough ACC schedule.
Plus
so Dean Smith has them ready.
Everybody was looking for them too all year.
Timeout Ohio State. That's the final timeout for the Buckeyes with 36 seconds to go. 62-50. North Carolina would be safely past the semifinals of the regional, it would appear, and Dean Smith may be headed for an 8th region championship. There's timeout on the court with a score. North Carolina 62, Ohio State 50. Well, Bill Raftery, you look around the country, there's still teams alive like Louisville and Kentucky. And later on tonight, of course, Iowa plays Villanova. Virginia's still going out there. They'll play the Cinderella team, North Carolina State. St. John still has a game play here tonight against Georgia. How do you look at the chances for North Carolina to go all the way, as they say?
Well, of course, this one's in hand, and Sunday, depending on the outcome, I think they'll play better Sunday. I don't think this was as good as I've seen North Carolina. And judging by your remarks, you've seen them play better also. So I think they got by, stubbing their toe a little bit, but Ohio State played an excellent ball game, and we see a number of substitutes in the ball game now for Ohio State. I'll let you call them out.
Well, Derek Polk has come in, 6'11" senior, getting one last start. Clinton Smith is in there. And there's the story of the game. 62-50. Allen quarterbacks. And there's the alley-oop intended for Campbell, and they threw it away. 32 seconds to go. Well, Elden Miller's conceded here, but it was beyond recovery anyway. Only 30 seconds to go. North Carolina leading by 12 points. Tony Campbell sits down. Ohio State will come back strong next year with Campbell, Concheck, Taylor, Stokes, Wesson all returning. They'll lose Waiters. Of course, North Carolina loses nobody, except, of course, that man, Jimmy Braddock. 25 seconds to go. It'll be North Carolina versus either St. John's or Georgia. There's a push-off foul by Clinton Smith. Number 1 on him, and Sam Perkins will go to the line again. Sam played only limited service tonight. He got an early foul trouble in the first half with 3. Came back in the second half and quickly picked up his 4th. But now he's back in here for the wrap-up.
Good depth by North Carolina. Curtis Hunter played a real fine basketball game, and the big people saw a lot of action today.
Cecil Exum just replaced Matt Doherty.
Brownlee and Warren Martin did some good things because Perkins was unable to play, hampered by the fouls.
And he's still going to be in double figures. 13 points. He tied Pete Brennan and moved past him tonight as the number 4 rebounder all time at North Carolina. Brennan came off that great undefeated team in 1957. Remember, Sam has been playing a little bit of an injury, Bill. Sprained his toe on his right foot, but he's back. There's a little celebrating now, and they have a right to. And there's a little sign of the agony of defeat along the bench of Ohio State.
And I was impressed. Granville Waiters played hard all ball game. Really had to work hard. He had a lot of big people coming at him all night.
Jordan goes out and gets a round of applause here. Nobody leaving here. There's another big game to go. Georgia plays St. John's, the other semifinal of the East. Sam Perkins with his 15th point will lead the game as Warren Martin comes in to replace him. Another great game for Perkins, even though he was restricted in his moment play because of personal foul. Now Clinton Smith.
I think Dean Smith is very relaxed now. His club didn't play well.
Mitch Haas recovers that loose pass with 8 seconds to go. Now Clinton Smith for Ohio State. Time just running out here. Smith getting off a shot in his foul with 2 seconds remaining. Personal foul is on John Brownlee of North Carolina. And this one's in the history books here from the East Region. North Carolina under Dean Smith has lost only 1 time in region play. He's won 7 of the 8 regions he played in, and looks like he's going to go to the finals again. And for Elden Miller, named Coach of the Year this year in the Big Ten. Well, he can look toward last. He's had the last laugh on the critics. They thought his team would be way down in the 2nd division this year in the Big Ten, and he fooled them again.
Very impressed with his club, and of course, Dean Smith might counter my remark of them not playing well. His players weren't on the floor enough for them to play well with some foul problems.
This will be it. The final second. North Carolina wins victory number 28 in 35 games. And that's all for the region here in the East tonight. For Bill Raftery, this is Jim Tucker saying so long. The Carrier Dome. Final North Carolina 64-51. This has been an NCAA Productions telecast.